Hey everyone, it's Ross from Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. What you're about to see are the ongoing adventures of our years-long running Rappan Athuk Mega Dungeon campaign using swords and wizardry, a retroclone of the original D&D game. Like, subscribe, and share if you wish. You're welcome to join us, and we hope you enjoy. It is miles beneath, a demon-haunted maze that once swallowed a crusading army. The legendary Rappan Athuk, the Dungeon of Graves. A handful of iron-thewed men risk their lives, their very souls, to plunder and explore, to stop the creeping tendrils of chaos. This is their story.
Synced edition called Swords and Wizardry. Let me pop open the Roll20 for music purposes, as we so often do. Ross, do you feel up to being the DJ?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you kindly. Also, it's good to see you, Ross. I didn't have a chance to say that earlier.
Yeah,
I hope you've been doing well, and if you haven't, I hope things improve. And if things have been well, I hope they keep. I just hope they improve either way. If they're fantastic, I hope they become ultra fantastic. If they were ultra fantastic, I hope they become unhinged with delight.
You're so funny.
It's my soul redeeming quality. Anyway.
You have several.
You'll make me smug.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Ooh, I gotta triple check those rewards. Those, not the rewards, the results.
Oh yeah, I gotta update my character sheet.
Yes, you do. It is, once again, winter in Kayden's Rest. Snow falls thick on the ground. Wind is either rock solid still or blowing in gales. For now, your trip was delayed a bit, or rather your plans to go out to the Citadel Older Than Names are delayed by about a day by intense weather, as you are forced to shutter at home to endure a sudden squall. But after a day, the river calms enough for the Myrmidon to once again pass onward. During that day, while you are all ushered in the Bristleback Inn or in the Tower of... Actually, that's a good question. First, let me check who's caller today, because I should have that on track. Alright, caller last session. So we had St. Darren. Okay. So this Zoltan. And then Finbar, you called last. Did you call last week? No, Perderi. It wasn't Perderi. Ross called last week.
It might have been supposed to be me.
Yeah, remember,
it was supposed to be.
Ross was the caller because we had a sudden moment of like, oh, the caller's dead.
Yes. All right.
So probably somebody who's a little more aware of like what happened last session should be caller this time.
As you like it. So the caller priority was Finbar, who missed last session, Perderi, who also missed last session, and then Magnus. So Magnus, would you like to be caller of the session?
Why, yes, of course.
Magnus puts on the hat. And with that in mind, where will you be planning your expedition today? The Bristleback Inn or at your tower?
At the tower.
All right. Rally around the tower, everybody. Party at Magnus's place. Time to drink all his wine.
Alright.
It's a nice
Signe-
homey fireplace there.
Signe is probably also sticking around town for a while. Grounds that the weather's too nasty to leave anyway. But she has no interest in joining you guys for another expedition, as far as she's concerned. Her debt to you is cleared. Although she does appreciate you resurrecting her from the dead, she'd
You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I know. But also, she did die for you, so she figures that pretty much evens things out.
True, she did, but that was after all of her talk about how, like, after you die, then, like, that's it. Like, that's sort of the end of your story, and then you can pass moral judgment.
Well, okay.
So I think we've proven an important moral point.
Yeah, okay, she died. What's your judgment? You've brought this up. Now you have to say, what do you think of her strength?
I mean, the strength was fine, but my point was more.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Thanks to having.
She walks away in the middle of the conversation.
You know, I'm glad she's not on the next one.
Magnus raises a glass to both of you.
Thank you.
Anyway, what is the basic plan?
That someone
Options
appreciates my
include.
half-formed moralism.
I appreciate it. Options accessible from the Myrmidon include, obviously, there is the Citadel Older Than Names, which always appreciates having you guys around/visiting. You could conceivably take the Myrmidon to the entrance of the Great Cavern if you wanted to poke around there again. And you could also... Where else is accessible by the river? You could go try to check on the ferries, but honestly, in this weather, I wouldn't recommend it. But you could.
What's the consensus, if there is one?
You have to call on people one at a time, Chief. Get their attention.
Okay, well,
I'm paying attention. I'm just thinking.
yeah. I mean, It's the winter now. What are my spies? What are my men? What is my squad of erstwhile, well-dressed thugs delivering to my ears about anything going on at Kayden's Rest or in the outskirts?
Let's see. In the outskirts. What did he just roll? Oh, he leveled up. And then he rolled a 2. Yes.
Oh,
Could have rolled a 1. That's twice as good as it could have been.
yeah.
Anyway, that's a good
Magnus
question.
rolled a 1 twice.
You did? Oof.
Yes, first 2 levels up were 1.
If I level up again, I might have the opportunity to do the same.
Monsters
need to roll
level up
one more
very
time.
slowly. In Barcombe, your people are confident that the old faith holds strong. Attempts by infiltrators, there are no attempts that they can tell of by the cult of, the anti-tetragrammaton to infiltrate Barcombe. Inchbury obviously is still very on the alert to weird heresies and charismatic strangers from out of town shilling exciting and strange new ideas. So that place is locked down tight. In Krogville, there are some interesting developments. Primarily that So as you know, there is the occasional goblin ship which parks at Krogville and does commerce there. Though usually it arrives with like 16 goblins and departs with about 12, 4 of them having gotten themselves killed in bar fights or the like while they were there, and or being sold as slavery and or snacks. Though generally speaking, no one, even in Krogville, no one buys goblins for snacks. But they've started they have started selling.
Such a low bar.
Yes. They have. What is it they've started selling? They have started selling unusual underworld mushrooms, which are becoming somewhat popular as a mildly psychotropic addition to food in several Krogville bars. And there is some concern that maybe something god-awful is going to happen as a result of that? But nothing god-awful has happened yet, and you really would have expected that to be killing somebody by now. So they're not sure.
Yeah. Where do these come from?
The underground, the mysterious fungus that they're selling?
Yeah.
They don't know. It goes for a pretty high price, but presumably it comes from somewhere in the underworld. And given what you know of where the goblins are, it probably comes from fairly deep in the underworld.
Let's head on over there, gang, and let's check out what's going on with these goblin mushrooms. What do you say?
This is inside. This is very close to town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very close to town, yes.
That's a plus. It's a big plus.
It's been a fair minute since I've faced a goblin. It would be a much appreciated reprieve.
I don't want to kill any of the goblins that are trading at our home.
That sounds counterproductive.
We've used their ships before. We've employed them before.
Okay, these
At this point, Moore speaks Goblin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might be worth taking along more.
Okay.
All right, so
She's
definitely
Not
bringing
been on an adventure in a
Manakan
long
and
time.
Locken along on this
Ready?
one as well.
Go ahead and mark the appropriate gang.
And
we've-
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say we have a fair
Wow.
group. I don't know that we need the extra muzzle of Pasling for this. How are we feeling in the clerical arts?
I feel great.
Well, I don't know what's going to result from this, but I'm hoping just to have a nice conversation with some people.
We're going to try to be peaceful if possible, at least by goblin standards.
Well, it's not like it's Goblin Town either. These are it's Krogville, but it's run by what's his name, the Conan the Barbarian or whatever his name.
Krogan.
Yeah,
Krogan.
Is he still there? Ross, it's
Isn't he
inspired
tending
by him, but
bar?
it isn't. He doesn't actually live there, right?
No one has seen Krogon for a year and a half.
Oh, okay. Never.
But he has two henchmen that were like his best friends and drinking buddies, and every time Darren played Krogon, he would always have these riotous debauches every time after adventures with those two. And they run Krogtown.
What are the?
Rodicon and Malar. So
Alright.
so
I'm gonna remember this.
Rodicon runs the tavern, although Run is,
He doesn't
That's-
maintain
Yeah,
a very
that's
tight ship.
generous, yeah. And then there's Malar is like a slumlord, and he's the one that makes money off all the migrant workers that make their way from the east and all the refugees that can't make it into the peninsula.
Let's get some tax money out of that guy.
Now those are henchmen, so this would be PvP. I am down, and I bet Darren would be too.
I mean, look,
I would love to annoy Garen with this. So yes, let's go do this.
I talked to him today, so
Oh, good. I haven't talked to him in ages. I hope he's well.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's go make his life worse. Okay. So the next day.
Yeah.
While the ferry is delayed a day or so, or rather, while the Myrmidon is delayed a day or so. Let's see. So Manakan and Locken are coming. You're leaving. Pasling behind. Which cleric are you bringing? There was that- All right. Right, you're a cleric now.
I'm gonna bring Rex too.
Say again.
I'm bringing Rex as well.
I have no idea who that is.
Rex is my dog.
Oh yeah.
I know that was a thing.
He's been living the good life in the tower for a good long while, but he is
Working dog, though.
Oh, he has great promise. Rex does. But,
That was when we, the last musing, that was when we broke the campaign with a high fantasy setting randomly at one point, and there was a literal dog store, and everybody bought a dog. That's what
Remember? I
Yeah.
remember there was this whole thing where Gerald got a dog and then he died and then what's his name?
Yeah.
The replacement guy.
Some-
Algar. No, not Algar.
The
The
guy-
pre-Algar.
yeah, the
Finnegan?
cannibal. No, the cannibal. And then
He was a little bit of a cannibal, I guess.
yeah.
God. I can't remember. Okay, it was Algar Dexton and Theodore Logan? No, that doesn't work. Whatever. We'll come back to him later.
So Rex is my dog, and
Yes.
I'll bring him along as well.
All right. Rex.
Good old friendly visit to the.
Rex is having great fun in the snow. It comes up to about his chest, and he is gamboling about in it with great enthusiasm, proving once again the limitless power of dogs over the elements.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way out of the peninsula, where now in the peninsula, when you go abroad, people tip their hats to you, people nod to you. Sometimes people bow.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Are the stables still here?
I believe so. Yeah. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure they're in my notes.
It did occur to me as you started describing it that people are going to be all nice to us, and I need to obviously be above them. So I'm wondering if I could buy a stout
Good
enough
call.
horse to.
Yeah, everyone who has a horse should definitely ride for sure.
Yes, you can definitely horse up.
It's the
Dalton Wittershins, that was his name. There we go. I kept thinking the opposite of Dexton. I was like, Sinister? No, that wasn't. Anyway, yes, you go to the horse, which I believe. What's the name of this place again? There's a great name for it.
Need for Steed.
Yes, the Need for Steed.
Incredible.
I keep forgetting that's the name, and every time it gets brought up, it's a delight.
So what's going on at the Need for Steed lately?
Well, business is good at the Need for Steed. They're doing well. It turns out that there are a lot more people in the area who are wealthy than used to be so, and a lot of them want to be said to have a horse. But because the area which you guys are sheltering directly is compact enough that it's fairly urban. So the utility of a horse is a sometimes thing. So Need for Steed is selling a lot of shares in horses and rights to have a horse on demand. But most of the time, the horses are just in the stables. So they're getting paid fairly regularly to not have to do that much.
That's smart. You got to close that garden, man.
Yeah.
That walled garden and have a guild and everything and have licenses
Walled stall.
and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they're really good at making sure other competitors do not arise. Well, actually, no, it's a pretty lawful community, so they have to keep abreast of other competitors and discourage them from becoming a problem by ensuring that they can continue to outcompete them. It's very unfortunate being a lawful community. You have to do all sorts of things the hard way.
So you're saying... I'm not going to say that, never mind.
No, it's okay. Well, actually, no, it's probably not. We'll save that for later. I was just reflexively being encouraging. Wait, no, we're on television.
Don't encourage them.
I won't. Okay, but they're certainly pleased to take a little time to share stories of the old days before the folks here retired to, turn their eyes to business. Back when they were running riot with the Hounds of the Pine.
Has the orphanage has it shut down? Because they should
no.
be.
They're doing. Sorry, say again.
They shouldn't have so many orphans anymore. I think it's been.
This is true. However, the thing about orphans is that once you've been orphaned, you pretty much stay orphaned, and that the orphanage was around and useful a couple years ago, and people aren't gagging to adopt new children for the most part.
Monacan's been active in that orphanage.
Oh yes. Yes.
Monacan has been patronizing that orphanage. Yes, he has.
He's been making all sorts of donations and meeting all sorts of people.
It's like Ronald McDonald's kids, but it's
mentoring
kids.
All sorts of
mentorship.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mentoring the special youth program that Monacan sets up.
He has a lovely gang of Cockney pickpockets.
Yes.
Oh, God, Gerald is spinning in his grave so fast you could power a turbine.
Yes, Monacan is my lieutenant when I'm not around. Can I instruct him to do just that? To start employing little artful dodgers and urchins. How much gold? Anyway, we can talk about that.
Okay, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
But yes, the orphanage is it's holding together. Obviously, the winters are difficult, but they were built in this climate, and they understand what they're dealing with.
Guys, this is gameplay. I'm not just being annoying. This is how we win. This is how we win the game. I'm sure.
It's a wonderful, wonderful notion.
You must produce additional pylons. Anyway, you have. Yes, the orphanage is still functioning. The shield house remains strong, especially because it has a shadow broker, a shadow donor who keeps it well supplied with necessary funds. A local man of high reputation by name of Monacan. who is widely trusted and viewed as a man of high character, who is said to, at times, don his cloak and doff his cap and go quest against chaos in the company of Kayden's Fist, though this is still mostly just a rumor, since he denies it whenever asked directly.
He scoffs. He scoffs in their face and spits at their feet.
Imagine the idea of it.
I like to imagine that's Monakin's standard greeting.
The thing about Monakin is that everyone respects him and almost no one wants to hang out with him.
Magnus likes to hang out with him.
I said almost.
Monakin will tell him the truth.
Yeah, Monakin's the only cool dude around to Magnus. Everyone else is like...
Everyone else is a huge square.
Blorpert is not. Everybody loves Blorpert. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
How could
Blorpert
you
is
not?
He
broadly...
got a 17 charisma. I should hope so.
Blorpert
He
is
just seems like a
broadly
good guy.
beloved. He is, yeah. That's like he's got the advantage of like he's basically like he's got the twofold advantage of he's got a very high charisma and he's just kind of a decent dude as far as anyone can tell.
He's not Florpert, so we're all like, hell yeah.
All right. So the important thing is, yes, you have
No,
orphans.
It's 8. He's terrible. He smells.
Stop that. Wait, is it actually? I thought it was
Yeah.
a 17.
I was
Wait,
totally wrong. Yeah, no, we're thinking of the muscular guy that died in a pit.
Oh
Hey,
no!
you didn't. Oh no.
More
Wait. I thought that
Oh no!
this is the same character who died last time. We brought him back. To be clear, like I saw you were like erasing the character sheet and redrawing it, but it should be the same as before.
No, I transcribed it. Yeah, he's got charisma 8. He's really nasty. And dexterity 4.
4.
He's
Wow.
got strength of like what, 16 though?
Is
17?
Blorpert
Yeah.
we're talking about?
Yeah.
I thought like all this time. Hey, we gotta have
Gotta
just-
better access to
it's
these
the-
character sheets. Like,
we just
geez,
gotta-
All right.
my whole mental model is different now.
We're also
Alright,
gonna
I'll
have to put a 1% more effort into naming his characters if we keep mixing them up like this.
It's
Sorry,
that
I gotta
scale
listen
where
to my
like,
camera.
it's the lower the charisma, the higher the confidence, right?
All right. I'll
So you were saying
try and
I
update
have
Blorpert's
a-
character sheet so I can be less bewildered about this in the future. I'll ask poor Blorpert. It turns out he's mid.
you were saying that there is now a little cadre of orphans.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, don't expect them to work miracles. They're a bunch of NPCs
No.
that just flipped out of existence from precedent. But
They-
yeah, no, you can schmooze with the orphans and try and get them to be useful. But remember, they are small and excitable children, and their ability to work miracles is going to be thin.
I just want them to keep an ear out for interesting gossip. That's all that matters. They get treats.
Kids love spreading rumors, and you're going
Yeah.
to get so much gossip. And Monakin, despite his better interests, will filter the nonsense from their gossip and bring you the stuff which makes a lick of sense and might actually be true. Unless you want all of it, in which case I will get out the Markov chain generator and go to town.
Oh no. And also maybe the ability to deliver messages.
Oh, yeah, for
discreetly.
sure. Discreetly, yeah, that does matter. So speaking of discreetly delivering messages, how do you want to get in touch with Rotocon about the people, about the new cuisine which is popping up in and around his neck of the woods?
Can't we just go to the?
Yeah, no, like you can just do whatever. I just want to
The
know if you want to
tavern?
do anything shifty.
I think
You
we
can just
go-
walk in the door. You can just like, hey, what's up?
Let's roll in heavy to the tavern over there. I mean, it's
Give the poor guy a heart attack.
he's our trusted, beloved neighbor.
Run a legitimate business here.
Exactly. It's been far too long. Far too long. Yeah. Let me.
So off you go. The nature of work in a tight urban environment like this on the coast, even in winter, there's a little bit of fishing. They don't have to do a lot of trekking to get out there, and the river is still more or less navigable. So, like, the main work that still exists right now is reaping fish from the river, which, blessedly, doesn't seem to involve as many 12-foot-long monster fish as it did a few months ago. Thanks in part to you guys thinning out the population of those a little bit. Come in, you make a big to-do of the production, and the bard in the corner like double takes, and the music stops midway as everyone sees like a small horde of people in armor and on big horses with fancy clothes come in, and then they recognize, oh my god, it's Kayden's fist. It's the people from the peninsula. What are they doing here? And then Rhodocon, who's behind the bar, like throws a copper coin and bounces it off the head of the bard, and the bard hurriedly starts the music again, and people just sort of pretend to not pay attention to what's going on as Rhodocon heads back over to you guys and claps one of you on the shoulders like, what can I do for you gentlemen today? Why don't we come into the back and we'll discuss this in my my personal quarters.
To the back? Your personal quarters, sir. You can see we came to just drink in the common room and to have a good time. It's been far too long since we visited. Far, far too long since we made an appearance. Do you not agree?
That's true. You're men of quality, and we all live under the shadow of your protection down on the peninsula. It's good to see you again. Hope things are well. Come in. I'll get out the good wine for you.
Perfect. The good wine. For everybody, I say. How much for everybody?
For everyone?
In the house.
You don't know as you say that, actually. And you'll find out after you leave when he sends you a bill later.
Well, let's find out how good it is first.
Okay.
What is he calling the good wine? Then I'll make a decision.
How good are we talking?
It's okay. It's it's not. You can drink the wine. It's like, this wine has no flaws. Does it have any qualities? I'm not sure.
Generic bottle of wine, 2 gold.
God, what's that from? Is that actually in the book?
That's in the book. Yeah, this is bottle of wine, comma, glass, 2 gold.
This is the dollar store. How good could it be?
Yeah.
All right. We'll say 50 GP. No, that's too much, given it's for everyone in that.
Hang on.
Let's say
working on a response.
How about
30 gold
20?
pieces.
30? Okay. I'm going to shell out 30.
Okay.
Magnus right now
Okay.
is going to shell out 30.
That's outrageous.
If you want, Perduri's willing to pay
Excellent!
half for that.
A new
No.
face!
He's good for...
Magnus wants to do this.
Still working on it.
This is important.
An important part of kingship is feasting your peasantry and each other.
Well, I'm also gonna ask Monacan and Locken to sort of just. I want to have them just position themselves on either side of Rhodocon. You know what I mean? Not close to him or anything. Just
Priestly man, you are in a den of sin. I say, looking to Sindarin. What is your feeling about all this? What's the vibe that you're putting out?
Sindarin's sort of less of a man of letters and more of a man of fists. The whole reason he came here was because he had a connection. He's Finbar's uncle, and he's heard tale of Bloombad, and he's like, now that's a man that I can understand.
Back to that.
So he's mostly indifferent. He's one of these guys that's like, I don't really. He's not too torn up about other people.
Not the judgmental sort, but definitely detached from all this. I got you.
Yeah. He's like, well, these guys are at least participating in civilization. There's bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
It's quite true. But
So many zombies out there.
There are so many. Is anyone going to help me with these vampires? There are so many. All right.
So many. Likewise, Zolotin is kind of foreign to all of this, so he's still got an air of just like, well, I probably shouldn't inject myself with my own biases into what seems to be relatively normal, glancing at the rest of you.
Honestly, the biggest problem that you have with all this probably is just You've been in a lot of cities over your time.
Oh yeah,
This is one of the stinkier ones.
it's not great.
No, these people could wash a lot more. Like, a lot more.
I'm blaming the winter, and then I think, like, was it really better in summer? Not really.
Yeah, that's a good question. And how is Blorpert handling all this? Because I know that Blorpert is something of a sheltered lad.
Oh, he's awkward and painfully so, and bumping into people, and tries to talk to somebody, and they won't talk to him, and then he looks forlorn, and then just sort of stands awkwardly amidst the crowd, and this is not his thing at all.
So you go and you stand on your own, and you leave on your own.
Well, I mean,
Go home.
he didn't try to do
crying
that,
all the
but yeah,
time.
that's pretty much what panned out. Yeah.
Okay, no, I think someone else is going to try and pull Blorpert over and like invite him to
Oh, yeah.
sit and drink with them
Have
and
a good time.
be very jovial. And it may be possible over the course of the conversation that Blorpert will realize they're going to try and ask him for money. But it's also possible that blessedly he will not grasp that, and he will just think that they are enjoying his company.
He's pretty dumb. He's not the smartest guy. So yeah, he does that.
All right.
So, I want to ask Rhodicon
Mhm.
about the mushrooms.
The mushrooms. You
We've
want
been
some?
Hearing... Oh, to be honest, well, yes, actually, I wouldn't mind a sample.
Yeah,
You
sure.
have one laying about.
It's the only decent vegetables we've got. Only decent fresh vegetables we've had around here in a long time. And despite what you may say, sometimes the men have a craving for the fresh fruit of the earth. And he snaps his fingers and gestures to one of his employees, who you would describe as a bar wench if they weren't 6 feet tall and bearded. And the bar wench nods gruffly and disappears over to the... Well, he doesn't actually disappear at all, because the thing about these places is, like, in this technological level, I don't think they have a distinct kitchen, really. They just have the fireplace and the hearth where they have the stew. And the stew comes out of the big central pot, the big, beautiful, perpetual stew. And they ladle out servings, and then they garnish it with fresh mushrooms. And each mushroom is a beautiful shade of red, and looks remarkable. And looks, well, I don't think any of you guys are wilderness people, but I mean, you've
Not
definitely
a
heard
ranger
rumors.
amongst us.
Yeah, but you've probably also know enough to know that going into the woods and eating random mushrooms is a great way to not come out of the woods ever again. But other people have been eating these, and they don't seem to be dying. And he's...
How do the other people who have been eating a lot of these seem? Do they seem any? I guess nothing jumps out at us.
No, it's not like there's a pile of people in the corner who are all huddled over who are all like smoking mushrooms out of a shared pipe. They just go into the mushroom, and they just eat the stew, and the mushrooms go into the stew. And as he slices the mushrooms into the stew, he says, "Normally these cost a little extra, but for you, call it a treat." But between friends. Now I'll warn you.
No, don't slice it in just yet. I'd like to have a sample of it to examine. Do you understand?
Ah, yes. He takes it between two fingers and hands it over. You probably don't want to eat a whole mushroom at once, he warns. If it hasn't been in the stew for a little while, the effects can be pretty potent.
Like garlic, or something else entirely.
Yeah, like garlic. Who's this guy?
Just someone who's eaten garlic before, like everybody else.
Just a big garlic fan.
Aren't we all? Let's all raise a toast to the
That's what
humble
he's known
garlic.
for. It's garlic. Totally just
Yeah.
this is garlic.
His name's actually John Garlic. It's a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Good for dealing with vampires too.
In the back, you can hear like a muffled cry of "to garlic" as someone inexplicably takes you up on this toast. No one else does.
How much
Buying
of
it.
this?
It's working great. I'm so smooth.
Well, I thank you. Have you noticed any ill effects at all of this?
Ill effects?
It is
No.
mushroom.
Strange dreams the nights after. Kind of a pleasant, relaxed, floaty feeling. Nothing too dire. People enjoy it. And I enjoy I've been known to partake a little bit, but they say you shouldn't get too enthusiastic about your own product. And I take that advice seriously. Besides, I have enough fun with the wine.
I understand. Well, Well, how long has this been coming into town, these shipments?
A little bit after the equinox, so a couple weeks now.
Ever seen their like before?
No, that's true of almost every mushroom I see. I'm not a man of, not exactly a
Okay.
wilderness man. I've left my days of roving in the woods beyond well behind me, after
I
all.
understand. Well, I thank you
Yeah,
for your
you've been
time.
out there, you know.
Oh, I know, don't I know? What? Indeed. Well, I thank you so much for your hospitality, and here's to you and your great success, as I'm sure you've had and will continue to have. Cheers to Rhodocon, I say, and raise a
Cheers,
glass.
cheers to Magnus and the fists of Kayden. He lifts his hand. To Kayden's memory, long may he stand. Long may his memory stand as an inspiration to us all. A hero.
I
A
can
martyr.
certainly drink to that. Is there anyone else here who was a witness of, actual witness of that, or is Magnus the only one? I don't know if Monarch
I
was,
think. Well, definitely no NPCs here were witness to that. I don't think you brought any along, if I can recall. Ross,
No, I mean amongst the party.
amongst the party, definitely not.
Hmm.
Let me check. Yeah, the NPC, the Britannia mob showed up well after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Magnus is the only one who
Um,
knows.
Or Magnus suddenly gets like sort of 1,000-yard stare. Not a look you see on his face very often. He saw some things that day.
This happens to you in every game I'm in with you. You're the sole survivor.
Hmm.
I
Beats
I don't know.
dying.
I guess so, yes. You know. So, yeah, I guess unless there's anything else we really need to do here. My curiosity is sated. I do think we should head back and show this mushroom to Ullman, though, and see if there's anything. First of all, maybe we can get a little gold for it, and maybe there's something that he can tell us about it, since we don't have a ranger. Or not that a ranger would be able to tell us about a mushroom from the
The
deep
druid
dark.
could.
That's
Yeah,
true.
maybe
You
a
could talk.
druid.
You could talk to Edith.
Okay, let's do that. But let's also see if we can sell it to Ullman for something.
Sensible concern. All right, one sec.
I mean, they're just shipping him in. It's not going to be that exotic to him. I'm sure he has sources of many mushrooms. Worse
You never
ones.
know until you try. It's a short walk, just over to the corner of the peninsula, right up there.
I mean, it's been so long since we were right at the door to a goblin settlement at one point, and we just never went back.
Well, no, because
Oh, we were just- I thought
those
you were
were the
just cool with
goblins
the
that
goblins being there.
absolutely bodied whoever it was that they.
I think it was me, wasn't it?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Tucker's goblins.
Yes, early in my
bullied,
tenure.
bullied by a goblin.
In fairness, that goblin had a. I need to come up with a better way to describe goblins with a shocking amount of hit dice, because I can't just have it look like a regular goblin and then beat the bejesus out of you. That isn't entirely fair. Even if it is
I
funny.
think it's hilarious and perfectly fair.
I didn't say it
actually.
wasn't hilarious. All right.
Didn't say we weren't fun.
Oh lordy! All right, hang a second. Druid.
I'm gonna bring a like a doorstop next time. Just like a little wedge, throw it down.
Very much a trade with the goblins. Convince them it's good.
All right.
Speaking of, have we tried bribing the goblins?
A couple
Something
times,
to do?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The problem though is like they
get too
there are
confused.
there is part of that. Anyway, so Edith is presently crashing with her family on the southern area of the settlement, the south coast. Getting there is, well, I'd say it's dangerous, but it's really not. It's just time consuming, cold, and uncomfortable. It's a long enough trek and bad enough weather that people don't do it casually. People tend to stay within like 15 to 30 minutes walk of their home in this weather. And so has Edith. So when you go into Edith's home, it's festoon. Let me see what power she's got, because she's definitely got some shenanigans abilities at this point.
believe she has level 2 druidic spells.
Yes, she has some good stuff.
That's not a small amount of levels, if I remember correctly.
It actually is.
Oh.
Druids get level 2 spells at level 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because their first level spells are garbage.
They sure are. Their second level spells aren't amazing either.
No, but at second level, they do get the ability to faultlessly identify any normal plant.
There we go.
So that helps for a lot.
But that
So-
begs the question:
I do
is
remember
this
that.
mushroom a normal plant?
Well, you're about to find out. Reverend Chris, would you be so kind as describe to me briefly the sort of vibe that Edith's home would probably be putting out?
I
As you envision
imagine her like the oldest of a large family, like 12 kids all running around, and they're you said they were a fishing family,
Mhm.
And so there's various fishing accoutrements strewn all over the place. I think the older boys and the father are out fishing at the moment, and then some of the older women are darning stocks or fixing broken nets, things like that. It's a general state of disarray.
Yes. That is the nature of making nets, making fabric, making cloth. It is a never-ending labor for anyone who is homebound, especially right now. So you come in and they've got their darning needles and they've got their bobbins and their distaffs and they're making cloth, and there's twine and long fishing thread everywhere. And there's Edith, fish guts staining her hands up to the wrists, opening the door, nodding, and without so much as a to-do, beckoning you in, because she knows wherever you guys are coming, you probably have some reason to be showing up. Invites you in. There's no space. You can scoot in and just sort of barely stand. It's nice and warm in here from all of the heat. A small child ricochets off of Zolatin's slithering side, and without quite noticing that it was not a human leg that they ricocheted off of, continues to scamper on, chasing another one of them.
Holding still, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Pretty will kind of saddle up to
Run
scream.
interference.
Yeah.
Yes. You've got to protect the casters. All right. Edith takes the mushroom and sort of looks at it for a second. Where'd you get this?
Just up the road, really.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah.
No worries.
It's been making its way into the stew at the Skagville.
Rodican's Rounds?
Yes.
Rodican's Rounds.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Huh. That place has always been a little too spicy for me. That's right. I guess a better phrase. That place has always been a bit too carnal for me. And it attracts a class of men I don't want to associate with.
Well,
This is... I know that some people... This is called the Red Window. It's used in some rituals to open the mind for prophetic visions. Not always, like it. I mean, you can just eat it. But it is somewhat significant that this is what's getting exported en masse to from the goblins. Not sure what to make of it. It's possible they just have...
But you can just eat it, you said? Like it's not a problem?
Oh, I wouldn't eat too much of it. Unless you want to have the most insane dreams you've ever had.
I
strikes
think we
me
should
that-
shut this trade down.
Might be reasonable.
It strikes me that we never inquired as to the nature of the dreams that people were experiencing.
Maybe we can ask Edith.
If I was going to try and use this for evil, what would I do? We use this to get in contact with otherworldly powers. So it opens you a bit, which makes you accessible, makes you vulnerable. So if they're trying to create another path into Krogville, his people, one that is by neither sea nor neither by river nor by road, but by stars. This could be part of it. But it's also... Well, no, I'd shut it down either way. I don't understand why you
it
let
has
the
to
goblins do
stop.
any business with these people anyway. They're goblins.
Well, it has to stop. Okay, well, I thank you.
Alright. Meanwhile, I've got more fish to clean.
This is Edith.
Yes, she's a second level druid.
Oh. Wow.
She used to be one of Finbar's retainers, and she may become so again in the future. But she's, at least for now, very busy with her family, as you can see. Without looking down, she reaches down. Without breaking eye contact with you, she reaches down and scoops up one of her younger siblings and sort of holds them under her arm like a football, preventing them from sprinting off into another one of their escapades.
Hmm.
Hey, just a real quick question while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if you had thought about this. The Swords and Wizardry book says that druids are part of a druidic hierarchy. Does she know the Wolf Lady?
I think they've met, I believe. Like, she went on a... Actually, I'm trying to remember. Did you guys send her on an expedition to meet with the Wolf Lady? Because I know that there was an expedition to meet with the Wolf Lady. I can't remember if she was on it.
Is that where we learned that it was possible to enchant the weapons, but we never followed through on actually enchanting the weapons?
I think so. I can't remember.
The porcupine quills?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Right, yes, that was it. The porcupine quills, which are, like, enchantment
Sorry, I'm
quality.
sorry,
Not
the
enchanted.
hedgehog quills?
Yes, that thing.
That was before Edith joined our retinue.
Yes. Edith smiles politely and says, "The wolf woman is well above me, but she knows of me and I know of her. The pact that was made between them and the Hounds of the Pine still holds, last I know. But it's not like... I mean... It's not like she nips down around for lunch. She lives in the woods. She lives with the wolves. They say she goes months at a time without speaking in human tongue. I don't know her. I don't know if anyone can. I'd have to become a very different kind of person before I could say I know her. But I know of her, perhaps more than most." Why?
Well, that's just an area of the land surrounding the peninsula that I don't think any of our current retinue has any information on. There might be great treasures or dangerous foes, forces of chaos that need to be vanquished in that forest, but I believe the current standing treaty enforced by the Hounds and the Lady of Wolves is that nobody's allowed in there.
Indeed.
So I think one day we might want to revisit that treaty and go crusading.
Well, if she ever needs a favor from you, you'll probably hear it from her, not from me. She doesn't need someone like me as an intermediary.
Magnus.
Oh, hang on a sec.
Yes.
Is it true? Is this one of your strange rules or laws for that Mages Guild that you're the head of? He doesn't know. He assumes that you're the head of it.
Well, I am.
Oh.
But
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
But
They should hope so.
Is what one of the rules?
That the most strange mushrooms can't come into a bar. What harm is it?
No. If these are opening up the minds of the unwary, just such an avenue would be perfect for such a power such as the one that hunts us.
You don't have to worry about me. Sealed shut.
That's right. I know it well. I know it only too well, my friend. I've come to trust that about you.
So, if this is the work of a certain demon, a certain power rather, how far up the chain before they actually know what they're doing and are no longer hapless puppets of their will, and someone we can hold responsible?
Yeah, we merely break bread, possibly share a glass of not the best stuff, mind you, but with one of these goblin captains. Perhaps we'd be lucky enough to meet the one that we knew before, or at least that I had knew. I don't know if know is the right word, but at least was acquainted with. We journeyed with them for some time. They were the ones that gave us a transport to the delightful fairy festival.
Before the Myrmidon.
Yes, and so perhaps we would have good fortune of seeing that one again. But either way, we just find out where they get them from, and then we go and put paid to the source. I don't think there's any need to alarm people over much or seem to be too tyrannous in our actions. We just go quietly and eliminate it. It is no good. Does nobody any good. We just increase the supply of barley if we can. Plant more, and then we can make sure people can have more enjoyable recreation. But there's no need for this extra nonsense. It's too dangerous.
Seems reasonable. Though, based on what little I know about goblins, we should not wager on the same one being in charge of a group for very long.
No, in fact, I think such a usurpation occurred last time as well, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
Maybe
Either way.
maybe it's gone in a cycle and it's back to the one you know.
What you got?
Running around again.
All right, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Or is this too boring? Shall we just strike out for the dungeon for an hour and a half, or shall we continue and search?
I think confronting the goblins could be somewhat interesting. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if it's gonna result in treasure, but it should be pretty interesting.
This is actually neglected gameplay. Like, we need to be, empowering ourselves and dealing with threats and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like the kind of thing we should just be like, bye.
Yeah,
It's probably fine. I'm sure Richard won't get creative.
Treasure. Did we actually end up figuring out what that one magic staff we got does?
Oh yeah, I actually thank you for reminding me. I should have brought that up immediately. So who picked up the magic staff? Because you had a really interesting ride home.
I didn't assume that I did. I'm not sure if we sorted it out at all.
Because I mean, I assume one of you did, right? One of you picked it up with your hands, or did some way of bringing it into your person.
I'll roll a d5 because I mean,
Magnus has learned to wear leather gloves.
Okay.
But
use some tongs. You might need to roll a die because I'm not sure if any of us are going to just volunteer. I don't think we sorted that out last time.
That is true. You did not sort that out, and I apologize for springing this on you now as opposed to at the very beginning of the session when it would have been much funnier. All right, so let's see. There was Bluepert. There was Magnus.
Dead. He was busy
That's
being
true.
dead.
It was definitely so. Yeah, it was probably Magnus because also Dalton doesn't have hands, so it's like even odds between.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's true. So, but there's even odds it was one of you. So I'm gonna flip a coin. Odd it was Zoltan, and even it was Magnus.
Okay, that seems fair.
Okay, here's the die. I'm gonna roll it. Actually, I'm gonna use the chat so that you can see what I'm rolling.
Didn't roll.
There we are. Odd. So Zoltan.
All right, here we go.
Okay. So when Zoltan picked up the entity, or rather, picked up the staff, I just love saying entity. It's just fun to say. All right. Here, he had an immediate sensation that he should drop it, in the same way that you would have an immediate sensation of
like a hot pan or something.
Yeah, like a hot pan. Like you've picked up a hot pan, or a frog coated with a powerful contact poison, or a hedgehog that starts. Yes, you did. And anyway, let me check 1 sec. Gotta pull up more of my notes. I need to get all these notes much more tidy than I do, but I have so much fun. All right.
But if I dropped it, that would have been back in the dungeon.
Okay.
Well, Magnus would not certainly not just leave it sitting there.
So how would we carry it? Because like,
Well.
if even like his I guess I'll just say maniple. 'Cause that's what it works in another game. If, like,
Maniple's a good word for his short-range hand equivalent, telekinesis.
got it from an Ian Banks novel.
It's a good word.
So, but we could still like, I don't know, tie a rope to it and just have it following us like a wagon or something.
Do you want to do that?
Unless the rope also makes us want to drop it.
No, the rope works.
All right. Guess we'd kind of like scrape up against the ground a good bit. Maybe we could. Well, we could maybe like wrap it in a tarp first and then drag it home. That makes sense.
Okay.
There's
So
access
here
to
is
many
what-
tarps. Go ahead.
Here is what happens. On the way home, the rope begins to rot and curdle. The one that you use to drag the thing. The tarp that you use to move it begins to rot and curdle. And Zoltan feels his maniples begin to grow weak and his vision to grow uneven as well, as he feels a profound illness begin to take hold of him.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You make it now. You make it home to Father Bloombad, who can cast some kind of healing magic on you. Are you going to request a cure disease, a remove curse? What are you going to ask for?
Do our character? I mean,
I should probably just tell you, but it's more fun if I don't.
I mean, well, I'm curious if Magnus has a little bit more experience with like what curses feel like versus what diseases feel like. I mean, it feels pretty curse-like though. Physically, it probably feels pretty disease-like.
Do you feel it in your joints?
I guess joints, those things that I have.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Oh,
you got.
Fair point.
Yeah, feel my fingers. No, I'd have some joints.
So there is definitely a lingering ache that pervades your entire body,
Ugh.
and a general sensation that there is a corrosive force operating inside you.
Not good.
But no, it's not. You definitely determined that the mere touch of this, that merely interacting with this staff is profoundly dangerous. Unless you can find.
It feels more like a curse than a disease to me.
Okay, so you're going to go for a remove curse.
Oh, yeah, how much does that cost?
Well, you've got a pretty fat reserve of money, so it shouldn't be a huge problem. But let's see.
Cursed you with no save? That's crazy. Oh wait, did you save?
I did not get to roll a save, but it could have happened off screen.
That's crazy.
All right. I've got great news. This will cost you 23 gold.
23. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean,
This
23 gold
economy.
is a significant sum of money for normal people. But I mean, for you, it's
Well,
like you can deal.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Does it work?
It does.
Hey!
Okay. The curse of the effect is lifted. The joints in your maniples, so to speak, begin to refresh, and the staff, I assume, is placed in the Tower of Magnus, which is designed specifically for storing this kind of incredibly dangerous object.
Do we know if it's for anything, or does it just give people more mummy rot?
You'll find out. Well, actually, no. You had all week to check. So,
Good.
Magnus, do you want to do anything? Is there anything I should bear in mind about how you will attempt to determine how this thing works, or should I just roll a d20 and make something up?
So.
Actually, hang on a second. Sindarin, can you cast Remove Curse?
I don't believe so. I think that's too high of a level for me.
Yeah, it's a level 5 thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Surprised it was only 23 GP then. Not that I'm complaining.
Well, you get a discount.
Yay!
It's in a laboratory. Well, in the basement,
Mhm.
you know, with the other Gary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're gonna have to roll. I
Here
don't
we
know
go.
what Magnus has set up.
I love it when I just get to roll a 1d20 and
Yeah,
get creative.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite. All right, Magnus, you're not completely sure what this is. You know it's. Here's what you're able to determine. Okay. First off, any kind of. It is not safe to handle this object at all. Possessing it is barely safe. But bearing it, having it in your personal possession, immediately exposes you to the attention of a higher power. And that higher power does not like you. And definitely does not like Zoltan.
Or lower.
Yes. Well, let's go with larger power.
You know,
Slightly less morally weighty.
big and far away,
Okay.
and yet right here.
Yes. The power, this thing is probably very valuable to certain parties. You're not sure how valuable yet. It strikes you that this is probably an extremely potent weapon, and you're very fortunate that its bearer did not survive to close to melee with the party, because it may have done damage you could not so easily repair.
I'm going to bring it to Ulman Dark immediately.
Okay, now here's the great
Is that
question.
wise?
How
Yes, it
are
is.
you going to bring it to Ulman Dark?
Not it.
Does
Well,
Omen do house calls?
Magnus is not lawful.
Okay.
Part of my experiments will certainly be to have touched it in various ways through various surfaces. I know I saw what it did on the road, but how long? He literally is just up the road.
True.
If I hop on a horse and kick her into a gallop, I mean, I can be there
Okay.
in less than a minute, I think.
Okay. Well, it doesn't start killing you or anything. Not immediately. Yes. Give us the spooky music.
I've already got dug on centaur fawn
Are you-
hooves or whatever.
I
Do
imagine.
we have?
I just
I
want to
have
take
a
a moment.
question first. I have a
Cust-
question first.
Okay. Question.
Do we have any hope of realistically learning more about this before we give it to Ullman? Because there's got to be a limit to what we could give this guy that won't end up being a really bad idea.
Ullman is capable, if he wanted to kill us all or do bad things to us, he's more than capable right now. He doesn't need this staff to do it.
Somehow that fails to reassure me.
You can Magnus assures you as best he can.
Somehow Magnus fails to care.
Well, no, it is what it is. Like, I trust Ullman. I trust Ullman as far as he is. Ullman is Ullman. You can trust him to have whatever crazy purpose he has, but whatever it is, what I've seen of
He's
his
the
power...
BBAG of a different campaign, is what you're saying.
Yeah, what I've seen of his power is beyond my understanding.
I do like that phrasing, that he's the big bad evil guy of some other story completely.
But
Here,
that-
he's
that-
just some guy.
That is actually very likely, and so I think that his hands are probably the safest in all the British Isles, possibly.
Held tightly in his majestic fingers. So you pick
And
up
also
the
he
staff.
might pay for it.
That is true. So
I hope so.
So are you doing this solo, or are you bringing anyone else in on this? This
Well,
little
I mean,
caper?
I'm assuming we're all teaming it. Let's. It's an
I know it's a
episode
team.
of it's an episode of Buffy. Come on,
Okay.
we're all
Alright.
we all gathered around in the basement,
Yeah,
and now
cool,
we're
cool.
all running down the road in the snow with the staff.
Okay.
If I have to toss it to somebody, at the last second before I collapse or something, I'll do
Okay.
that.
That doesn't happen. I'll tell you right now. That's not what happens. You pick up the staff. You have the instinct to toss it aside. You don't. And nothing bad happens. Not immediately, not obviously. And you bear the staff to Ullman as you ride on horseback, observed by the rest of the party, as Prideri and Sindarin are briefed on what is occurring and where you found this thing. And you make it to Ullman's door, and you raise your hand and bang gently on his door, and there's a unpleasant crunching sensation in the hand you used to knock on his door. And you turn to look at it, and you see that one of your knuckles has quite painlessly given way.
Oh God!
And you flex your hand, and it pops back into joint. But you can see that there is a bit of purulence, a bit of pus running from underneath your fingernails. This thing is...
I do have gloves on.
I know. Oh, okay. So in that case, you don't know. You just see that your gloves are damp.
I can. Oh, gross.
Okay.
Much better. Actually,
Okay.
worse.
It's
Okay.
actually worse.
And Ullman opens the door. And he looks up to you and he says, Magnus. Oh. You've brought me this. And he reaches out with his hands and he wraps his fingers around it and he carefully eases it from your grip. Come. Have your holy man heal you, if he can. This is a precious thing you've brought me, an old relic of an old god.
I knew you would appreciate it.
Yes. Yes, I will pay handsomely for this, and I will tell you its secrets. And you will be glad that I will have taken this thing from you, that never again it will darken the world that you know.
You see?
This...
I turn around. Magnus turns around, looks smugly at everybody.
Okay.
Exasperated.
Okay.
Will it darken a world we won't know? I ask stupidly, the wrong question.
Oh, such things as this always darken something. It is their nature.
Gregory mutters, better to have smashed the thing over a stone, I think.
There is no
Might have
stone
made it
you'll
worse.
find in all of Albion which can break this thing. No bone which can withstand it. No ligament which shall remain whole in its presence long.
Yes,
No
noticed.
creature. There is no creature in this world which bears live young, which can endure its touch. Only egg-bearing things, soft-skinned things, old life, wet life, can endure this staff and find favor with the powers that watch over it. And of course, he holds the thing firmly in his hand. And of course, for me, I can endure it. Come. Eases back inside.
We have been tussling with the denizens of some frog god recently.
Yes. The so-called eldest god.
Well, the old days can have him as far as I'm concerned.
It would have been
Not
better
just
for
him.
all if it had remained in the elder days in which it spawned. But it has remained too long and too old, blinded by age, curdled into resentment. Its time has passed, but it will never accept this. It will
Well,
remain as a curse on this world forever and ever.
But one without use of this staff for his minions.
Yes. This is a staff that withers flesh. As I'm sure you've noticed. You should sit down. Actually, your friend should prepare to bear you to a place of healing. You may have difficulties soon. I will pay you a fast fortune for this. I will bring you a suitable treasure. Wait here. He drifts into the back. Why does a collector want anything? To have it. Drifts into the back. And he returns bearing a single opal. A perfect sphere. Polished to a mirror finish. A slightly different color from every direction. It's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. And this is in firelight. You can't wait to see it at noon. Oh, it will be amazing to see this in the sunlight. This will be a treasure to have ever witnessed. And he reaches out and he places it in Magnus's hand. Which can only just hold up the weight of this beautiful stone. It's rapidly curdling ligaments of the palm
Oh.
within. He needs to use both hands.
I'll slip it into a pouch real quick,
Yes.
and then I'll nod in thanks and to be too weak to answer, and I'll just say, I'll just start walking to the chapel.
We'll help him walk.
He might need a hand. The staff of the Batrachian is a rod of withering. You have been rewarded a 6,000 GP opal.
That's something.
Ow.
Very powerful item we just gave.
Very beautiful, very powerful. Well, also very
We can use
powerful,
that
but
thing, but also
yeah,
I do
evil.
think that maybe we should have just kept that thing in the equivalent of concrete.
it maybe should have been casked. There is that possibility.
Should have been what? Oh, casked.
Yes.
Okay. Probably, yeah.
Almond.
We probably should have done that.
Oh man, you guys.
I keep
Nobody-
deferring to like the
Nobody
real PCs.
knows Almond. Nobody knows Almond.
No one knows Almond like you
Nobody
do.
loves Almond.
I know
Everybody-
Almond less than I did a minute ago.
And that's the nature of Almond. But
I was actually
Either-
more so saying it might have been useful as a weapon. It could be used for good. It could be
By who?
what's the- by us.
So
Oh.
it's 6,000
Here,
bucks.
buy a goof.
If it could be, if it could be turned to
Well, you could always try
Be a
and buy
great
it back
weapon.
from him for 2 opals.
Here,
You know where it is.
Torchbearer, defend
Well,
yourself.
you remember what you were saying about the steel, the nothing gets in, nothing gets out.
I'm sorry. Yes, that was out of character. My character would not scheme to use this powerful evil item.
Fortunately, your character is not the boss
don't
of
even
you.
know
Is
how
not,
we
is not
use
the
it.
boss of
Indeed.
you. You're the
That's
boss of
right.
your character.
That's right.
Well, let me
Even just
explain
in
what-
purely
what's-
practical
what's
terms,
that
how we use it. We
voice?
can't carry
Okay.
this thing at all, and we can't figure out how to use it on someone. It also doesn't seem to kick in like tactical timescales.
I think it's really
Yeah.
simple. I imagine a situation where Magnus makes the final sacrifice and allows himself to turn to chaos.
No.
That would have been the moment where that would have been used.
Yeah, I mean, we could have tried to feed it to that frog god. That'd be something. That could solve the problem. But how
it's
would we get
from
it there? We couldn't
It's-
do it.
It's of it, right? And
Yeah.
it wouldn't affect
Maybe.
it.
Well, this came from that mummy, right?
No, it came from the frog.
Oh,
the,
well, never mind that.
the
Yeah.
frog man, the big
Well,
frog man.
Then I have no ideas.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me look up the actual. Actually, one of you guys who has the Dungeon Master's Guide 1E, look up what a Rod of Withering does, so you can learn what you just passed up
Okay.
on and why it's
Not me.
maybe it's okay.
I'm fine with 6,000.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's also a little late to undo that.
You
Also-
mean the 1E DMG?
Yeah,
Almond
because it's not in the
yeah,
Swords
I'm
and
not
Wizardry.
undoing it.
Woo!
Almond is
It,
awesome.
It is in Swords and Wizardry.
Wait, is it?
The dreaded Staff of Withering adds
Oh,
10
Staff of
years
Withering.
of physical aging with a successful hit.
man.
AJ, you're looking at the dreaded Staff of Withering. This is just a
Oh.
Staff of Withering.
No, this is just
Rod
Withering.
of Withering.
I think he's kidding.
Okay, I can't even tell anymore.
No, this is staff, magic staffs, withering.
Wow.
It's less funny if you can tell that I'm joking.
I agree.
It seems to do other stuff other than just aging, because I
Yeah,
don't think that was going to just happen to Magnus in 10 years.
this is a frog flavored one.
This is a frog flavored one.
But all sorts of
Oh.
nasty stuff I was going to start doing if
Oh boy.
show up in a minute.
All right, so how
Um,
much is it? Another 28 gold to get me restored
Yeah,
there?
yeah,
23, I
23. Technically, it's 22 and a half, but who's counting? I'm counting. It's 23.
If
should-
it doesn't, obviously, go ahead, Ross.
I was gonna say we should go check on the gym cutter and go in there and talk to him about the kind of
Cutting this thing seems like a
Good old Calgor.
crime.
Well, like appraising and selling, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Or
The gem cutter. Okay, so when do you bring him the gem?
like one thing I want to suggest here is
What?
maybe liquid gold is not actually what people would want to do with it. I don't know. How much is it? 6,000 or something?
6,000.
I propose we
What else
mount
would
it in
you
a
do?
golden circlet that Magnus can wear.
Just to have? Just to have it?
Dude, the thing's the size of like a fist. You can't just
Yeah.
wear it on a circlet. It's too
Why
big.
not? What do you mean? What do you
Just,
mean?
just have
Just
it
like
on like a crown.
just strap an apple
Just
to your head.
His head
Yeah, it's
just.
gonna take at least a crown, maybe a coronet.
Yeah,
Use it in a
something like that. You want it to go on top of the head.
Yeah.
It's more of like it's a Dragon Ball, okay? It's a Dragon Ball. You put it
Oh,
on
on
the
top
head.
of the head. On top of the head would be perfect. I could make it part of like a sort of a
purpose?
dome. Like, what do
Just
you,
to-
what
just
do
to
you
Your
mean?
arcane energy.
I don't understand the question.
incorporate it into a staff.
A
Heavy
beaten
staff.
stick. That'd be a heavy beaten
Bonking 'em
stick
with it.
at that point.
We should
I'm not
Shillelagh.
proficient.
we should appraise its relative local value and see while we're at it.
Let's
what
do
the
it- let's
local
do it later.
value-
Let's do it. Hold on.
What if
Let-
we sell it to like a holy man, like Blumbad, and have it as like a centerpiece of some kind of, I don't
can
know,
join
light
the museum.
aspected. Because
Yeah,
it's
can
really
we-
neat to look at, and it's really great. It's going to be even better to look at in daylight.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I almost sounds like you're proposing we're going to sell it to the temple. You have to give things to the temple.
You don't
Yeah.
have to give things to the
You
temple. I'm
probably
sure they
never
engage in
charge you
commerce.
for anything ever again.
I mean,
I mean,
look,
you're
we-
right.
we-
What
we will
what
donate to
better?
the-
What better as a memorial for like everything that we've accomplished on behalf of the light to just have this sitting there. Hey, it's
Just have-
6,000 gold pieces you didn't expect to have. Nobody remembered that stuff.
I remember the staff. We were talking about it because I remembered it.
True.
it's a lump sum.
Oh, you
insurance
got me.
plan.
You got me.
All right, you guys
okay.
take a minute
Okay.
to
Listen,
bicker
Tim,
amongst yourselves.
listen,
Comment
no,
click
no,
your
no.
camera.
Listen,
I'm gonna
I'm
go
gonna-
refill my drink.
I want to.
I don't think it's a sin to just sell things to the church. Like, they do engage in commerce. I'm sure they buy candles from candle makers who got to make a living. I'm
Sure.
sure it's fine.
It's fine. I'm fine with it either way. But I just want to propose a caller. Krogville and do some goblin finding, and then ask some questions about where the mushrooms come from, and begin planning an no, I don't want to say begin planning an expedition. I want to say let's see if we can actually make it out to where these goblin mushroom caves are.
Our current plan is to debate what to do with the opal for the next 2 weeks. Just spend the whole time arguing.
Yep.
Awesome. Next day, back to Krogville. Boom. Okay, you have all the information you need. Where are you going to go first? Are you going to go to Rudikin's Rounds? Are you going to go to try and talk to Malar?
Wherever it is that receives the shipments of mushrooms.
Okay. Rodikin buys them from a guy on the dock, who he will gladly sell out to you in a heartbeat. Okay.
All right.
The guy on the dock is a man named Jazinder. Jazindr. He is a weird, one-eyed man who looks like he lost the other eye in a freak accident playing darts. Otherwise, kind of a generic, slightly pale-skinned, dark-haired Englishman who, when you find him, is busily... What would he be doing? Is busily repairing a net for one of the fishing boats as part of a work crew. He does not appear to be a man of tremendous prestige. And neither does he appear to be... Actually, how would he react? I'm going to roll a reaction check with 2d6. Okay. When he senses a large group of... It takes him a while to recognize that you guys are here for him. He seems to inherently categorize anything involving large groups of armored men on horseback as someone else's problem. Something could possibly involve him. And then when it does come clear that no, you guys are looking for him, when you're looking for Jazinder specifically, he sort of looks up in bewildered astonishment. He's like, "Can I help you, Governor?"
Yes, well, we were hoping to find out more about these mushrooms, you see.
Oh, those! Oh, it's a bit of a side project. Sort of tosses away the remnants of the net and leaves it for the others to finish repairing, abandoning his work crew, sort of high stepping carefully out of the netting. Last time one of the belly button came by, I got to talking with one of the little fellas on board who I'd met. And, well, we had a bit of an argument, and sadly he died. But
Okay.
one of his other friends, when they came to pick him up, they offered me a few of those mushrooms as in exchange for the body. Like, they wanted to buy it off me. They thought it was mine now. It's kind of a strange vibe. And, I'm not one to turn up my nose to free food. And I had some of those, and I had one of the most incredible nights of my life. I had a majestic dream where I was floating through a great cavern full of great glowing crystals. Like the sunlight was cascading far from above and radiating through the crystals into the sparkling wet depths. It was fantastic. Ain't seen nothing like it before. I've never even been in a cave, but now I know what it's like. And I thought, other people would like to enjoy this too. I should share, and I should make them pay for the privilege. So next time they came by, I had a little talk with them saying, hey, you'd like to take some of those off your hands, we'll pay you handsomely for them. And they were like, great, and they tripled the price. But I was still able to make a tiny profit by passing them on to Rodican.
Understood. And where are these that sold them to you?
The belly button's in and out. It might be here in the next couple days. I don't know. I don't keep track of them. Just try to keep an eye on the docks, and when they come by, I try to make a sale.
I see. Do you have any more stock available?
Sure, you want to buy it off me? Happy to help, sir. Happy to help.
How much do you have?
Yeah, he shows it off. He leads you back to his place, credulously enough. Clearly thinking he's impressing you with his wiles. And leads you into one of his tenements in the slums. Lifts his mattress and takes out several large, odd-smelling bags of rough canvas, holding them out to you with pride.
Yes. Thank you very much. Manakan, if you would do the honors, take those bags, would you?
Manakan nods and just sort of grabs the bags and leaves. And she's just like, hey!
And how much for the lot? 10 gold? Sound good?
Normally, Jacinder thinks for a second. He looks at you, looks at the mob of men you've brought with you, looks at Bloopert, looks at Praderi, and says, normally I'd say 12, but you're a man of good reputation, and I think it's very worthwhile for us to be men of business together, so yeah. 10 should do just fine.
Shall we make it 19 gold, then?
You're too kind, sir, too kind.
Yeah, some tell me that. I hear that quite often, in fact. Now, well, we're here. Do me a favor and don't buy any more from that merchant. Or if you just can't help yourself, make sure you tell him that, well, actually, no, I changed my mind. No, don't buy any more.
You
That's
actually would
it.
like to talk to that person, right?
Yes, we want to talk to that person. Next time that ship comes through.
Well, yeah, they're usually in and out pretty quick. Show up, sell their wares, go to the bar, get mad drunk. A couple of them die. Throw those in the river, and the others sail away.
Yes, well, you just send a runner next time this ship shows up in port, will you? And
Sir,
come and
you can
fetch
count
us.
on Jacinder.
Absolutely.
I'm a man you can trust. I'm a man you can make deals with. I promise you this: you shan't regret this contract, sir.
A contract. Now, what we're agreeing to, that you will send a messenger the very
I will
second...
send the very second. I will send a runner, and if I can, I'll send a man by horse.
Perfect. And you will in no way alert these gobos to our presence? Or
I would never dream of it, sir. After all, they're lesser creatures, the gobos. After all, there's no need to worry them with such matters. They're Their minds wouldn't wrap their heads around it anyway, and half of them would be dead by morning anyway.
That's too true.
Too true, too true.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Of course, sir. Of course. It's a tremendous pleasure to do business with you. I hope we can in the future. Remember, if you ever need a man on the docks, Jazinder is your man.
I will remember it.
I know you will. Mind like a steel trap, Magnus, the man in the tower. Everyone knows the tower.
Am I allowed to roleplay Locken? I can't tell your response.
You may. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I sorry. I have the window, the video window set to. Yeah. So he doesn't say anything. He just after Magnus walks out, he's just gonna stop and just stare at the guy for a while. Not like an intimidating stare, but just like he really means it stare. So then he'll walk out.
Just unbroken eye contact.
Jazinder makes. I'm trying to think of how best. I'm trying to clear my mind so I can make this face correctly.
Yeah.
Once outside, Moore would ask, shall I make him a thrall?
If you wish, I can't. Far be it from me to recommend against it. It might be the only safe way to go. However, I have no wish to do that at this time. I'm going to trust in the power of Menakan and Locken and their persuasive abilities.
That should be enough for me then.
Don't you worry. I don't think he'll be in any trouble. Guy like him, he responds to pressure.
He did fold like a cheap cloak, didn't he?
Well, you gave him. Well, you brought out the good iron. All that gold.
Yes.
The actual iron.
Oh, and that too.
Yes. The golden glove on the golden fist, as I like to call it.
Ha!
How are your hands doing?
They're doing
Terrible.
Well,
To the chapel this instant. No, I think I already paid.
yeah, you already went
Yeah.
to the chapel, but I
No,
assume
yeah.
that there are some lingering
You've
concerns.
like
Yeah.
he's an old.
The cold is doing me no favors either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably already a little bit arthritic from all the ink and
Yeah, this
quill work.
is-
You know.
It's a rough hands day for Magnus. Probably will be for a few days yet, but nothing being mechanical.
Yeah. So
So,
all
I
right,
wonder
so-
how often that goblin boat actually comes by. It's not something I've been paying attention to.
before it was like once a week or once every 2 weeks or something. I don't
They're one of the
remember.
more regular of the boats.
Have they gotten more irregular, you suppose? Otherwise, we could just
Well,
wait.
there
I
was.
suppose we fast forward to when we get that message from the messenger. If he said a couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. There used to be this whole thing with the Bard River, and I haven't updated it since you guys fixed that.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
About to say, like it was pretty. They were pretty regular. And then there was the whole the trade had stopped kind of thing. The result of that. I don't know that we ever resumed.
No, it definitely resumed. You found and kind of spectacularly resolved the problems responsible for that,
Yeah.
as such people as you often do. And so 2 days later, you do get such a runner. They arrive just as the sun is setting, in fact. It is a man on a cheap horse with an expensive hat who rides out to the man in a cheap horse and expensive hat who rides up to Magnus's tower and hollers, "Wizard! I have missive for you!"
Yes.
It's not as subtle as you would have preferred.
Don't stand there shouting at it, you fool. Good. I'll come on down.
The man dismounts and explains that he says, "Your man Your man, the Jocks, Jacinder, he requested me to inform you as soon as I could that the belly button is once again at dock.
Aye. Well, send word around. I'll send my man, my boy over there. I'll wave to some random urchin or something. Anyway, point is, let's gather the unless everyone's just been hanging out in Magnus's tower, which is also fine, by the way. It's if y'all just want to be there most evenings, he wouldn't mind. He doesn't mind the company.
True. Although I suspect there's a lot of general. How many NPC wizards are there? I guess it's just Aelin and more at this point. But Aelin is probably getting tired of you guys hanging out.
So, and we'll just head right over there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just meet up with the guy.
All right.
This background music occasionally having just like sword-like clashes. It's just like Cromwell.
Yeah, that's Krogville. Every once in a while, there's just a knife fight.
Sometimes people draw steel, I guess.
Speaking of, I should roll a random encounter check.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, no, homework.
No, you're good. You're good. You would have a random encounter, except you're on horseback, heavily armored. So the various, urban riffraff who might have menaced a lesser party take a look at you and decide, no, let's not try to strong-arm them. Let's sort of just keep on meandering by. You make it to the docks, where, true to form, the belly button lies in state. It's stretched broadly across the docks. Now, the nature, you would think to look at goblins, and if you could, you wouldn't look at goblins. They're nothing to look at. But there is they have a surprising capacity for art. It's clear in their craftsmanship. But it's also clear that they have an unsurprising taste in art. Because across the side of the belly button is a really impressively technically painted rendition of a goblin being pulled in half by some sort of underworld horror. And it's lavishly illustrated. There's strong command of line and form and shape, and they're using it to really get into the details of the inside of a goblin. It's all coming out through the belly button.
They really nailed the musculature.
Yeah, no, it's clear that work goes into this. And on board and on the dock, you just see Jacinder himself busily engaged in negotiation with what it looks like the captain of the Gobulins. You presume he's the captain because he has the most magnificent hat. A long and curled feather juts from black felt, worn atop a ragged black tunic, and a jagged, slightly rusty cutlass. He is flanked by two goblins, both of which are twisted and gnarled in a way which is unsettling to look at. Their musculature has started to calcify and malform under their skin. And they glance about, and they're clad in thick swathings of loose, coarse chain, draped in tabards decorated with abstract line work. One of the goblins looks over at you and points to Jacinder, and then points at you, and Jacinder just shrugs enormously.
Good evening, little man.
The little captain looks up at you, tilts his cap back. Do you speak Goblin? I'm trying to remember if you speak Goblin or not.
No.
That becomes a problem immediately as he barks something to you incoherently in Goblin. And,
So it's probably not the same captain as before, because I think that one can speak English.
yes.
Well,
So could this guy a second ago, because he was just talking to Jacinder in common, and it becomes clear a heartbeat later that what he was actually speaking to was his companion, his two bodyguards. who, put their hands on their blades and look up at you with a bit of menace, and then look at your horse hungrily. One of them
Like
licks
any
their
of that.
chops.
More smiles politely and says in Goblin,
Oh, Moore should know that what
Yeah.
he said is, "Boys, get ready for trouble from this one."
she says as politely as she can in Goblin, it's so sweetly that it's disgusting. Trouble only finds those that look for it.
Okay. The goblin's attention shifts from Magnus to Moore, and his ears, oversized, his eyes bulging and pointing in slightly different. His eyes, which were bulging and pointing in slightly different directions, pivot and adjust to not quite focus on Moore, but focus closer to Moore. And he says, "You speak a civilized tongue. Good. I'm glad one of you does. What business do you have coming to interrupt my commerce, riding all up on me with your big, delicious dogs?" Gesturing angrily to your horses.
Interesting. She'll regard Magnus, see if he has any input before continuing briefly.
Or if Magnus's dog has any input.
She'll just continue briefly in the interim. Interruption or rearranging. We shall see, depending on what you have to say, and she'll regard Magnus.
Yes, well, mainly just wish to talk about this mushroom situation, you see.
Sort of situation. What troubles Jazinder be getting himself into?
No, well, it's not him, you see. It's just, we'd like to know more about where these mushrooms come from.
Toilets.
Toilets. Goblin toilets, you say?
Gotta go somewhere.
I see. Well, what prompted you to begin trying to sell these disgusting things here?
Jazinder here stabbed a friend of mine. I want to get the body back so I could sell it at a profit back home. Figured that man wouldn't know. I figured that man wouldn't know what to do with them. Mistook them for something of value.
I see. Well, what you're telling me is no otherworldly, underworldly, or otherwise dark spiritual powers motivating the sales of these things in any way, shape, or form.
Can't promise that. All sorts of dark powers are afoot all the time. I can't pay attention to that. I've got a business to run.
I see. Well, if you could stop selling these mushrooms in our town, we'd be grateful. Which is actually not what I meant to say. What I meant to say is, stop selling these mushrooms in our town, or you'll be sorry. But I wish to make it sound more polite, because we don't wish you to stop all traffic with this town, but we don't trust these mushrooms, you see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boys, throw this man in the drink. They're not talking to you. He's not talking about throwing you in the drink. They
Right.
grab Jazinder and toss him in the drink. Kerplunk.
Oh,
Is the
It,
water? I imagine the
yeah,
water's
is he
pretty
gonna be
cold.
okay?
He's probably
Probably.
probably
not.
not gonna be okay. Yeah, we should
No,
probably.
you might want to go
out there.
fish him out.
He's already numb.
It's very cold.
That's a really good point.
You might want to go get him.
I'm sure Monacan bursts out laughing.
I throw him a rope because I don't pantomiming being a person and such.
You're Magnus Magnuson, aren't you? You're the wizard.
I won't deny it.
And you're less famous. I don't remember your name, he says, gesturing to Moore, but I think I should. Hang on a second, I've got to think of a proper name for this guy.
He's gesturing to these like famous people, and I'm like, I'm Blorper.
And this is Blorpert. You should definitely remember his name.
Yeah.
It's a good name. That name's good. I should know.
I knew
I'm
you'd
Black
like it.
Blood Blorper.
Oh no. They're gonna
Cousins
kill
from
That's
afar,
a-
no doubt.
I had a cousin named that. Something close to that.
you. And
He
he
had the black blood, did he?
Shake my hand, human. Yours is a name worthy of respect.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. Shake his hand. Shake
Yeah,
his
it's-
nasty, snotty goblin hand.
it's
How
not
does
snotty,
Blorper-
but he's definitely been chewing on his fingernails, and he definitely hasn't washed his hands since.
Just
Yeah,
think
like
about like when my toddler wants me to shake her hand and all the
Yeah,
fun
no,
things to me.
that's a good way to think about it. However, your toddler doesn't have chimp strength. This man's grip is strong. He shakes your hand firmly, and
one
then
of those
releases it.
goblins.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's that strong. They're short, but they do. They're short, but they do full damage. They're unusually. They're sharp. They're strong.
wiry.
I'm just in the background trying to rescue Jazinder before he freezes.
Yeah.
But also trying not to blow my cover, so just like,
Perdaria will help you haul him in.
hey.
Yeah, Perdari's a sweetheart like that. I've heard that you lot used to run with an organization called the Hounds of the Pine. That they killed quite a few of my countrymen.
I heard that
Oh,
too.
you
I heard
feel-
they killed hundreds of them. I just blurred out.
Countrymen. I mean, there are multiple.
Yeah.
There are many tribes, and you know.
Mine was mine. Good
Yes.
work. It's impressive. You're a man I want to make friends with.
I was gonna say I was trying to think of how to have more ask because like allegiance is a interesting concept for a goblin.
Just be like, where are you going with this?
I want to do business with you. I know that you had some interest in making trade with my predecessor before I stabbed him in the neck. And I want to know, what are you looking for from the underworld? What can we provide you?
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Well, we had some sort of a mithril deal going, did we not?
I think what actually happened is that you barged into our mithril mining operation, stabbed several of my countrymen to death, killed some of them in very creative ways, based on the state of the bodies we found later, and wasn't exactly an operation, per se.
So we're people to take seriously, is what you're saying.
Quite. If you're interested
Alright.
in importing mithril, we can provide it for you at a reasonable price.
I do think that would help our strengthening of our community here.
Yes.
How deal you with the ants, the insects?
What do you mean?
Do you just avoid them, or do you have method to avoid conflict with them?
Understand, what do you mean?
I think we may have killed most of the ants that were there. but,
No, there's lots of ants. You just send in more men.
Yes, true.
There's always more. Don't be stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, so mithril.
Yes. Talk business. Bite out of one of the mushrooms
I
and waddles
have no
inside towards the
idea.
Watkins.
I have no idea what the scale of mithril is that they can provide or that would even be beneficial to us. Like,
We
it
do
wasn't
have some-
huge. Yeah.
I actually have some useful basis for comparison. But here's what you want to do. Tell me what sort of equipment you want to make out of mithril, and I can provide you a coherent pricing for how much that will cost you in terms of raw material.
Full mithril plate, including barding for my horse.
Okay, give me that.
That's a lot.
Okay, hang on a second. I actually
That
can
was-
answer
that
that. He's been thinking about this. Clearly, I respect
Yeah,
that.
what's
in a man.
max mithril cost?
Okay.
I was kind of wondering if I could obtain some that's like kind of flight friendly, some armor.
My,
Based on
uh,
Max Mithril being my next character name.
My concern
Max
through-
Mithril.
through the lens of Perdari is if we are working out a arrangement around the mithril, that is morally complicating us taking over all of that operation at some point.
Yeah, but that's like to take over all of it. You'd have to take over that whole
Right.
goblin town that we talked about
Yeah.
before. Like,
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
like in the
Yeah,
meantime,
I
we
was-
can.
I
The
was
town
thinking
can be.
that-
Nonetheless, it still seems like this could also be something more ambitious. Like, can't this be a business that we create as well? There's a blacksmith in town on the peninsula. We've never talked to ever. Could
We
you
come
know?
to an agreement of soul
I'm
business
to understand
around this.
processing mithril is very expensive and we do not have the necessary facilities for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So-
More,
It's
more
been
silversmith than blacksmithing.
I mean, it's more the knowledge of how to do it, right?
Oh, I was going to suggest that, on the assumption that we can in some way do that, we don't just sell the stuff and flood the market with it, but it becomes the signature.
No.
It becomes the
It-
signature of the
We
military.
don't sell it. We absolutely don't sell it. Absolutely not.
We
But
don't
we
want our enemies having it.
we use it to arm our guard.
Right. Like when the
And
the
Or
hounds
even
of
just
the
starting
pine.
with just ourselves, really. Like once we are ourselves thus outfitted, then we can start talking about guards.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have a sense. I don't know if we have a
that's
sense
why I
of how
wanna
much of we can even like outfit ourselves in like various parts.
Well, so step one is how much can they actually deliver per month, let's say.
Spreadsheet time.
I am
for
I'm doing a
spreadsheets.
spreadsheet in the other room.
Richard's favorite.
I know. Give me a smoke. I'm trying to get creative here.
Factorio faster.
Okay, so
I don't care. Actually,
Factorio
I don't. You don't have to-
Fastorio.
You can take your time. Actually, I'm just saying. Yeah, it does seem like there's the immediate goal, and then there's also maybe it could be something more ambitious. I'm all about that. I love the idea of like that's how the surrounding powers come to know our armies. Oh no, they have that armor. You know,
How good is that armor?
isn't it just iron, but it has the weight of leather or something? Like, isn't that all it is?
Roderi's already got something like that
it's very similar.
by different means.
Through the power
Okay.
of magical rust.
If you gave them 27,000 gold pieces, you would get enough. You would get enough mithril to completely outfit you and your horse in
That's really
mithril
good.
swathing. Yes.
27,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I for some reason heard 2,700. What? Yeah, 27,000.
27,000
for the
GP.
board for the horse barding.
And that's
the
for a
mithril
horse.
barding.
That's-
We could literally buy a galleon and equip a warship
Yeah.
with cannon. With
You got- that horse is getting named
mangonels.
Princess Celeste.
You guys
at that
haven't
point.
invented cannon yet. Don't
Sorry,
be silly.
Mangonels.
I
Or-
think
At a lower price, you can for 6,000 GP, you can make one suit of chainmail, which weighed nothing.
yeah, but how much can they
Nothing.
deliver?
Wow.
How much can they deliver per month?
1,000 GP.
Okay.
Actually,
we're
no,
ta-
wait,
yeah,
I whipped that off at the top of my head.
I appreciate your decisiveness, though. Like, I always have such a hard... Whenever I'm GMing, I'm just like, oh, I need like a week to think about that.
Yeah, the confidence there was impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But that would mean that, like, 6 months of build-up for one guy.
Yeah, that's why I doubled it. So they can bring you 2,000 GP worth of mithril per month.
Oh, man.
Which,
Okay. Does mithril
Yeah.
help with weapons, or is it just armor?
I mean, what the main thing it does for weapons is it lets you carry. It reduces encumbrance. Mithril weapons aren't generally better than non-mithril weapons, but they let you move faster. Encumbrance rules in this game are pretty severe, and being able to move very fast while being in full plate is pretty good.
I would go for movement rate 6 to 12. I would double my movement rate if I had mithril plate.
How many bars is it for a shield?
That's a good question.
I mean, shields traditionally are more. They're not just metal, but
Don't you?
Let's say one.
one.
Actually, no. Assuming if it's just metal, I don't even know how that would work. It'd be hard to repair. Or...
Yeah, like a
I mean,
buckler or
even
something.
if it was just a one that was like reinforced with mithril, like so
Mhm.
it's I don't know.
Let's say 1 bar.
1 bar.
Yeah, I will put together a proper spreadsheet for you guys soon, and then you can guys
Yay.
start thinking about mithril market mechanics.
Yeah.
And then you can discover, hey, these rules that Richard cooked up, we can break these in these hilarious ways. And I'll cry, and then I'll nod, and then you'll win. That's how you win Swords and
Let's win
Wizardry.
forever. Having armor that weighs a little less will definitely help us when a mummy turns us to ashes.
Well, it helps you run away from the mummy.
That's true.
It will.
That counts. Listen, that
little
is the
bit.
first lesson I learned in Otherworld. Don't be the slowest guy in the party.
So it sounds like this deal is not going to be useful right now on the face of it, right?
Not immediately.
Right now.
No.
You don't have enough cash flow to like pay
Yeah,
for this run.
that's really expensive.
But where are these people live down in the goblin area of the dungeon? Is
Mhm.
that right? I mean, a really valuable thing to pay them for is just information and power and connections. That's
Yeah,
those are-
what would be really nice. We still don't know whether this whole mushroom situation was just a coincidence because goblins are just kind of chaotic and they just cause chaos to flow this way, or if there was some kind of intelligence behind it.
Yeah, everything that Goblin
I don't
said,
know how we
including we were going to stop this trade, could easily be taken as a bold lie.
The part about the toilets definitely felt like a lie to me.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Well, you do see him. Well, on the one hand, you do see him eating the mushrooms later. On the other hand,
That doesn't
He's a
prove
goblin.
anything.
He's a goblin.
yeah. Also,
They're
That conveys no information.
to
unhinged
metagame,
creatures.
because Magnus would know this, but we don't know the extent of it or what's happening with it or why or anything about it. But there is an entire mycelial thing going on there. Like there's an entire network of mushrooms that has this otherworldly quality.
Oh, yeah.
So like what's up with that? Like, and we don't know.
Actually-
and
Well, we have several bags of
I
mushrooms.
finally have an opportunity to lore dump because Moore has been interrogating this goblin for weeks now.
oh,
And so I can start communicating some important information to your characters about how goblins work, which explains some of the things that goblins were saying earlier, which is this. Goblins don't reproduce. They don't have romantic relationships with each other that lead to new, smaller goblins. Goblins just happen. They just accrete abiotically out of the darkness. Like, they're just... they are a renewable resource. Goblins keep happening. And
It
the
is, as you
primary... Yes, the primary export of goblin civilization is goblins and goblin byproducts. Like, they are at the bottom of many subterranean food chains. When you wonder, what's everything down there eating? It's goblins. Goblins, which stumble out of the dark and are devoured before they get a chance to rejoin goblin civilization. And goblin civilization, such as it is, holds the value of goblin life at 0. Goblin civilization is a continuous struggle to be the one on top of the pack who is dealing who gets fed to who, as opposed to the one who gets dealt. And it's awful. Everything you hear about it is awful. It's the worst thing Moore's ever heard. It's just like she's heard awful things about the Franks, but this is a whole new level. So that is why that's why goblins are the way they are. Their entire existence is a nightmare, and the more you learn about it, the less appealing it is. It's astonishing that any of them are capable of speech under these circumstances, but it also explains a lot that why the ones you've met that talk are as vile as they are, and how much intensity they must have to function in this environment. These are not hinged people. These people are knives thrown into the dark. Which might make Prideri feel a little better about getting out-wrestled by one.
He was stomped by a renewable resource.
So, all right. So let me ask you all this, and Father Chris, like, what does this? Do you feel like this is enough of a risk to say, okay, we'll go with that for now, and hopefully they don't bring something else gross back here, and it'll be okay.
Well, I propose that we
Also,
offer
can we
up
just
this.
buy
Hold
this
on,
dock?
hold on. I propose that we offer up this 6,000 gold piece opal that we just got for one suit of armor's worth of mithril, and just say, "Hey, Gabo, would this opal pay for 3 months?"
I
I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea.
I tell you straight
Way
up.
out of character.
I'm just going to tell you straight up. Moore would know this. Do not pay them up front with this opal. You will never see it or them again. They will take it and they will go. You're lucky I'm not Gary Gygax, because Gary would have just taken that opal and run. You never would have seen it again. And later on, you'd be like, "What happened to my opal?" And they'd be like, "What opal?"
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I
You.
said. That's why I suggested it rather than said. And now we're doing this. But,
I know. I just wanted to say it.
Go reach in that demon's mouth and get it. It's in there.
So
Close your eyes and plug your nose. You're reaching into a mouth.
well, then I propose that we sell this opal as the seed money for what we're going to use to pay for the shipments when they start coming in. We'll just say that way we can have some security.
I think. How confident do we all feel about our ability to like discuss this between sessions? Because we always had big plans, like, "Oh yeah, we'll discuss this over the next 2 weeks," and then just like,
I actually like what
we
you're
end up
saying,
not showing up
Test.
altogether.
I agree. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's actually worth hashing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
I do think we should
it's
mull it
burning
over.
a hole in the pocket. And,
Like, to be clear, you guys did get 6,000 GP this session. You did get experience points. So, like, you've done your bit. You can spend the rest of the session hashing this out. That's fine. You've already won.
What if we got more? Well, we probably won't get more with like 28 minutes left.
Yeah.
Maybe. For what it's worth, I kind of like the idea of the opal ending up as sort of a centerpiece of sorts of like the religious infrastructure here, for lack of a better word.
100%, and then therefore, but we need to get value for it. So I think.
Yeah, I don't think we should give it to him for free.
Okay. If you
Well,
I'll say this: if you give this thing to Father Blumbad, you will have a effectively on-demand, no expense resurrection forever. Like, this will basically, if you guys get dropped, he will bring you back for free forever, because it's a huge upfront payment. It provides a perpetuity to him that he can use to continue to fund the Church of St. Galahad, and it also makes my accounting a lot easier. So, like, it's win-win-win.
Pretty good.
That's a pretty valuable opal.
Like, yeah, what are the odds that we're gonna get? We're gonna.
I mean,
drop,
I would have
gold
a forever
PCs?
perk
Probably
then.
pretty good.
Because he has 100% res chance, so I would just have a forever perk. He would.
Forever perk.
Don't worry.
You can still retire them, right? Like you
Or be eaten. You can be like a
Yeah,
frog.
I can think of 5 ways to remove Blubbered from the game.
He could fall in a hole.
You're right. You're right.
A big dog could sit on him
he's
and
just
not
too
stand
heavy
up.
and we
again.
have to run.
No, you're totally right.
Does this have the clause "the soul must be willing"?
It's also, we're at a point in the game where, honestly, even in the 70s, it would have been reasonable to start resurrecting people. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that sounds like kind of a good like default decision of what we're gonna do about it. Let's not 100% commit right now, just in case someone else has an even better idea.
What does it do for communes?
The
No, don't give more. No, Richard. No.
I still want to use those.
I'll give you 1 question a month for free.
I go into settings and turn the
That's pretty
difficulty up.
Speaking of communes, we've still
Good
got
one.
the. I was reminded of this by the mushrooms because we've still got those bricks of. Like
yeah, you can smoke
incense
those.
that
We've got
are-
time for that this session.
Those are like a. Those,
we're doing
those just
drugs
sound
now.
like a
Oh.
much stronger version of what you said the mushrooms do.
I think I know what this episode.
Like the way you
title thing is
describe
gonna be
those
about.
mushrooms made me think like, oh yeah, that reminds me of these things that we're planning on using ourselves. What could go wrong? What was that?
Just pressing the thumbs up emoji.
Amazing. I didn't know that was a thing.
You go into the lower left. There's a soundboard. There's emojis. There's all sorts of fun.
Incredible.
Yes. Anyway, are you going to?
I don't actually have any questions
Metal-
on hand. Like, do we have questions?
I bet one of you does, but you might want to save it
I feel
until
like I
you
wrote some
got a good one.
down.
We had
Yeah,
some
well-
a while ago, but
Let's.
If you just want to sample the effects and don't want to ask a question, I'll be nice and creative and say you
Meow
can.
meow meow. I'm a kitty cat. Meow meow meow.
sorry.
I'm a kitty cat.
Sorry. I didn't.
Don't
mean to
use
do it
ones
the
that make
second
sounds, in my
time.
opinion.
I'm
Ross on
sorry.
the soundboard.
Okay.
Oh,
I
that was
forget.
Ross.
To be fair,
I'm
I'm sure there's
sorry.
no other soundboard sounds that Richard would have appreciated more.
True. I am of the opinion. Wait, what am I of the opinion? Let me think this over.
If you
I
want to
think we
just
should
make
just, like-
contact and not ask questions, you can do that without consuming it. I'm going to let you do that.
Hmm.
But if you don't want to do that, then I guess just don't smoke it.
I mean, the questions are mainly what I'm after. I mean, I do appreciate your descriptions, but I kind of feel like it'd be better to get it all at once. You know, really just get the hammer blow. On the other hand, we tell us who we're actually asking, because I'm much more suspicious of those now.
Yeah. Is it like a Palantir and it also smokes you?
Yeah. Plus, I've already gotten cursed once this session.
Ask not for whom the bong smokes. It smokes for thee.
This is coming up too frequently in my games for some reason.
Potions. Potions.
Your strongest potions.
Their strongest potions. Yeah, I feel like we should wait until we have like a question. But
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned. The only concern there is that, like, what if we are asking like Sauron? And we're like, hey, Sauron, tell us this good thing that's good. And like, well, I got bad things that are bad.
If I were being mean and I were Richard, I would just have Scramgy or whatever show up and be like, hey there, you know, and like force you to hang out with him or something. He seems like a guy who partakes.
Graham G.
Grant,
Well, he's who we got. Isn't his room where we got these bricks from?
what's
in the
his
first
name?
place?
Scram?
No,
Scram.
I thought we found
Scramgy.
it in that frog, in like a frog
Yeah.
cult thing.
Yeah, the abbot of the
Yeah,
cloister,
his
which we're
personal stash.
consecrating
It's
currently.
not completely impossible. He got them from Scrumchick.
Yeah. Of course, it's also, even if if it came from him, it could be dependent on who is smoking it. So, like, the fact that I don't know if it is incense. You do smoke it. I'm sorry. So, like, if Zolotan's doing it, it might contact someone completely different from, like, if another character does it, or like if Magnus does it.
I mean, you have a good point. Like, what are we got a good thing going right now. We got a whole sprawling dungeon underneath the keep and the surrounding wilderlands around it and everything. And
And of course, if the commune is truthful, then even if it is from an evil god, then it could still be good info.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
I do like
I
that.
thought we
Actually, that is fun.
Yeah, I thought we just do it once we have a good question, and it's kind of more fun if we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I agree.
Oh boy, I like the
Especially
way
if
you
I'm
think.
really confident
Yeah.
that it's going to be good, and
That's
then
good.
it's just
That's
it's just Sauron. It's just that one scene, well, one of several scenes of Sauron just absolutely mind blasting somebody.
That's good OSR thinking.
And now
Like,
I have
hey,
a
this
button I
is
can
fun,
press to
so I'm
mind
gonna do
blast
it.
you. I have a whole soundboard full of appalling noises.
Ah. So, what
Richard,
are
I
we
have
going
a
to do
name.
with the last 20 minutes of this session? I am kind of stumped.
Well, perhaps Reverend Christopher has an idea. What's the thought?
No, I just you said you could blast people with annoying sounds, and I said I have a name, all right. And I prefer you to call me by it.
All right.
Just interrupting
yeah, I
everything
mean-
to make a dumb joke. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I have no other action items for this evening. I think hashing out. I agree about the opal. As far as donating it, seems great.
I have a question because this is something, and Tess this is a good point that we struggle sometimes to make these big consensuses between sessions because I think maybe they're actually really big, maybe, or hard to do. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so here's a big one, okay? And Tess brought this up as well. And I think it's really good. I think there's look, guys, I'm level 3. we have a level 7 magic user who we frankly desperately depend on, like to be able to overcome problems. I don't think this is metagaming because I don't remember. It's awesome. I don't remember things, so I don't remember Rappan Athuk. I'm like a goldfish. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, I don't know, but I think that's like a level 8 dungeon or something, like level 6, 7, 8, something. It's big, okay, and we saw that, okay. So it's reasonable to expect we're going to get more of that getting punched in the face like that and barely making it out alive and mummies and stuff. Yeah. What if we tried to go on some quests and do stuff to try to get more powerful so that we could clear that area, that dungeon and the area around it? So that's just throwing that out there. So we commune and ask for, I don't know, we find an in-character way to ask for experience or like magic items, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, I need an adventure hook for an easier adventure with with more treasure.
I got you. Like early level things that we haven't done, just like looking for rumors. Going back to things that we might have not fully, or going back to things that I don't know if you noticed. I feel like I bring up the Wolf Lady every session because I feel like there's stuff there that we have no idea like what's there. Like I would say even before blowing cash or incense cubes on communes, I would even just say like, man, do we know it? Can we listen? Can we talk to people for rumors of the area? Like what's going on? In the wilderness. I mean, we've got this big, beautiful map that.
It's not that we never ask for rumors. That's how we found out about this whole mushroom thing.
No, Christopher's right. What happens is every once in a while, and this is great too, in my opinion. Every once in a while, we'll like dungeon, and then we're like, oh man, the dungeon's getting really hard, and then we're like, okay. And usually it's because there's a problem in the overworld. So we take what power we have from the dungeon and we go to the overworld and we solve problems and we secure the overworld. And then we're like, oh man, I want to go back to the dungeon. This kind of happens every so often. But whatever that looks like, there is a whole game above the dungeon. And we need power. I think the worst thing that could happen that would be pretty vicious is we don't have the power to progress in the dungeon, and then something awful happens in the overworld and we're not prepared for it. We don't have a way to get treasure. That would be the end of the campaign. So like we have this security, what Richard called it something, a security gap or a security shortfall, and we don't have a way to meet that security shortfall. So we need, I don't think that's a bad idea, Christopher, but whatever it looks like, I just proposed to you all that we need to go on an adventure, a level 3 adventure, maybe a level 5.
Level 3 character. A level 3 adventure for a level 3 character. That sounds kind of radical.
I'm gonna say this. There's a few good options here for that. Actually, do you want me to suggest some level 3-ish available options, which would be good for you guys right now?
I have one I'd like to throw in the hat as well, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
You first. I'm the GM. I can do that.
Bro, play the.
Mythic Mountains RPG is a private online play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Folk RPGs are the games that belong to all of us. They're what actually happens at a table between friends. It's their voice that has the authority on what is fun and what works for them. Weekly, we upload our games to allow others to sit in with us. The channel isn't monetized. We don't own the artwork, music, software, or games shown in these actual plays, and you can find links to their authors in the description. Like, subscribe, and share if you wish, or don't. Just like games in person, you're welcome to pull up a chair, sit in, and watch some of our games. No performances, no fancy equipment, just regular people playing folk pencil and paper role-playing games and having a good time. We hope these games will prove a source of enjoyment to anyone just wanting to listen in, anyone looking for examples of how actual groups run and play folk RPGs, and most importantly, if you haven't found your group yet, you're welcome here at ours.